guys. Thanks for joining us. This is Cat Pajamas.
And this is Pain User.
And we are back for more IPL 2 matches. This is more winners bracket round 1. Here we have 6 Jacks. Coco spawning as our Orange Terran player down at the 6 o'clock position on Terminus. His opponent, and while not trying to be too biased, my boy, Duckload White Rock, spawning as our red Protoss player. Oh, Special Tactics ahoy. I can't wait to see what both these players are going to bring, though. Promises to be a good game. Terminus, of course, that very fun, huge macro map. So easy to take 3 bases. Would expect nothing less than a massive macro game.
Yeah, I mean, Coco, one of those new Terran players, 4-6 Jacks. They have a great Terran squad now. They have him and Major, both really talented players. Coco, actually one of the more surprising qualifiers for IPL 2, along with TQ State and a few others. But definitely one of the underdogs of the tournament, and taking on White Raw in the first round is not exactly the best possible situation you could put yourself into. But luck of the draw, well, lack thereof of luck. But that's just the break for him. So he does have to play White Rock going into the round of 1, and we will see how he does. The map obviously is Terminus, and like you said, I think we will see a macro game out of these two players, especially in TVP. This map just really yields to that style of play.
Yep, absolutely. And looked like kind of a snap decision back there to go ahead and put down Gassy. They actually saved up a lot of resources and queued up another SCV and decided to put that gas down really late on 13. Let's see, though, Zelnaga Tower being taken by the SCV. Both players not really going to find each other for a while. They are close positions by air. And White Raw is going to have easier access to the pocket that allows him into the base here at the top, but Coco is going to have easier access to this third right here where he can do some pretty aggressive dropping if he so desires. Right now, White Raw has gone after his gateway, cybernetic score coming up as well, and not really, okay, there we go, there's a second pylon sitting at the top right. Really going to be a question of how quick he gets a second gas, but a one gate expand, certainly very, very viable, and what a lot of Protoss players will do on this map.
Yeah, definitely. He probably will expand soon after, get a Zealot, and well, yeah, he is building a Zealot right now, so he's going to get a Zealot and a Stalker out. That'll give him the option of doing possibly a little bit of pressure, but he'll also be safe to any kind of super early pressure coming out of Coco, any kind of a Marine Marauder or Marine Reaper type push, and we do have a Reaper coming out of Coco right now. Interestingly enough, Reaper's not the best harass unit on this map. All the entrances to the main base are pretty much consolidated at the front. There's 2 or 3, I guess you can sneak around the back of the natural and get in there to the left of the ramp. Yeah, so there are 3 entry points, but it's really easy to scout out the frontal entrance prior to the natural and see that Reaper coming in and get troops in position to deal with it. He is going to have that Stalker out. So this Reaper mostly going to be for scouting, trying to figure out what White Raw is up to, and we do have a second gateway on the way right now, and a third. So it looks like we're going to see a 3-gate Expo, or perhaps a 3-gate pressure into Expo, and I think this is a great build on just about any map.
Yep, absolutely. And looks like Coco is actually going after the early command center, and he's not going to have a ton of units up initially. So especially if White Raw looks like he's actually committing over to concussive shell concussive shell Marauders at this point. White Raw running away with his probe there. He's going over to concussive shell Marauders, and he's not going to have a ton of units prepared if White Raw does a pretty strong 3-gate attack, and Expo's behind it like you were hinting at before. There's not a lot of defensive structures down yet. He hasn't sat this command center over at the natural. Really curious to see what he does. He's actually going up to 4 racks, though, before he goes after any sort of other tech structure.
I mean, you essentially have to, especially opening with the Reaper and the quick tech lab on the racks. You just need that production to hold off any kind of aggression, and even a 3-gate aggressive build can kill you if you don't have enough racks production to get those units out ASAP and deal with it. But White Raw dropping that Nexus, hasn't really warped in any units yet. I think he'll probably start to warp in units real soon here, and it looks like he has just started to. Getting a few sentries, going to start building up that sentry energy, and not looking to pressure just yet. He's in a little bit of a defensive mode. He doesn't know exactly what Coco is up to. Hasn't really gotten any scouting information as far as what build Coco's using, whether or not he has a command center. Didn't send a secondary probe, although that might have been a wise decision considering there was a Reaper out on the field. Probably could have denied most of that scouting. And he is warding that Reaper off with his Stalker right now. They're both playing a little bit of cat and mouse in mid right now, trying to get control over those Xel'Naga towers. And who will the victor be? It looks like White Raw has forced the Reaper out of the midfield. Coco wants to keep that alive. No, he's going to try and sneak it around mid and get some more scouting information, but he just might lose it here. I'm not sure.
It's going to be close. White Raw manages to get one more hit, and one more. He only needs one more, and this Reaper is toast. Bye-bye, Reaper.
Oh, he didn't even have the cool jetpack animation. He just exploded.
It just kind of went down. But it's okay because his death is going to be avenged by a pack of Marauders and Marines. So now Coco's going to make his way across. White Rod, though, has a good number of force fields.
More than enough.
And it looks like he's going to be able to get in with those Zealots, although he has a few traps behind, and that's not the situation he wants to really find himself in, although he is forcing those units back from Coco. He's going to make his way back. It looks like White Rod went to a 3-gate robo build. Will probably transition into some sort of a 6-gate robo on a couple of bases. But of course, when we're talking about White Rod, that robo isn't necessarily indicative of just Colossi or whatever the case may be. He does have the robo bay coming up, so he will transition to those, but he can use Colossi drops. He's one of the the few really high-level Protoss players that does aggressive warp prism play and things like that. So everyone loves watching his creative style, and I'm curious to see what he's going to do. To a degree, I'm going to be a spectator in this.
I mean, he's a player that can use the Warp Prism very well. A lot of Protoss players don't even use it. He'll use it in the mid-game, the late game. Sometimes he'll even use it in the early game. And Warp Prism is just such an amazing unit. It essentially just puts your gateways at your opponent's front door. I mean, they're so underused right now in the current state of StarCraft 2, and players like White Rock kind of leading the forefront on using them, and there's absolutely no reason not to. So maybe we'll see that coming out of him a little bit later, but that Robo Bay does indicate that he will probably be getting Colossus relatively soon here, and he does have the first Colossus on the way. Probably going to save up and get range pretty soon here. He does have a little bit of a gas surplus, sitting at about 500 right now. There we go. Range is also on the way, so getting quick Colossus, also taking a third behind that. Both players actually taking their thirds. We do have 2 reactors for Coco, so he's going to be producing a ton of Marines here. It doesn't look like he's going to swap that starport to one of those pre-existing reactors. He's going to go ahead and stay on 2 because he does have another reactor coming on his factory. This is an interesting decision by him. I don't know that the Marines are really going to help him out once the Colossus numbers get beyond 3 or 4. Those Marines are not the unit composition that you want. They're great at this stage in the game, and maybe we'll see Coco do some kind of a push before too many Colossus get out on the field.
And it looks like there were gateways number 4 and 5. Forge following this up as well. So White Ryan is going to go after a few upgrades. Oh, actually double Forge. I like the... instead of just the 6-gate single forge push that a lot of people do, I like the double forge in lieu of an extra warp gate. It allows you to concentrate on the tech and really getting up a lot of Colossi and increasing their strength as you go along. So we'll see how he's able to manage that force. Coco, though, does have a large bioforce making his way out to the middle of the map. Like you were mentioned before, this is a huge amount of Marines for this stage of the game. Yeah. And if White Raw is able to buffer damage with those Zealots and just allow those Colossi to get off a couple of hits, and I'm like doing the thermal lance motion here behind my microphone for some reason with my hands, not that anyone could see it, but it's going to put him in a really good position.
The spread pattern. Yeah. And then we do have a drop sneaking over to the third of White Raw. Does White Raw have any defenses there at the third? He has 1 Stalker waiting for this. That is it. He reacts almost immediately. Coco not pressuring the front. He did have units there in position to pressure, and he might pick off one of these Colossus here. It looks like he might get it. He might actually get the second as well. No, doesn't get that second Colossus. Not the biggest deal in the world. Picking off that 1 Colossus, while important, wasn't going to allow him to just outright win that battle. He does not have enough units to kill White Raw at this point. White Raw with a pretty substantial gateway backbone, and I like that about White Raw, not just teching up immediately to Colossus and just relying on that as 100% of his army strength. He is mixing in gateway units. He has a nice Zealot buffer, and that's really what's important with Colossus. You need that gateway unit buffer, and you need enough sentries for force fields in the proper places and that Guardian Shield. And if you have ample energy for those, it really just makes the Protoss ball so much more effective, as opposed to those players who just go like two Robo and continue to mass Colossus.
And it looks like this drop tried to make its way in again for Coco, but there are Stalkers here to prevent that. Looks like Coco is going to lose that completely. Only picked off one Stalker in return, so not a great trade for him. White Raw also went out to the middle of the map and took control of the Zelnaga Tower again, picking off a couple of Marines that were sitting there. So White Raw actually in a pretty position. He's even dropping down a hidden Expo in the top right-hand corner of the map. He's already got double Robo down. He's going to his 7th gate. He's got tons of upgrades on the way. He has his Twilight Council researching charge lots as well. So White Raw really, really effectively utilizing his tech paths. I like the fact that he's committing down the Robo and Gateway tech path as well, and not just wildly going to invest a bunch of tech. I see too many players that feel that they're ahead, invest in way too many tech paths, and then just get crushed by a follow-up, relatively low upgraded Bioforce out of Terran players. So White Raw just playing this so intelligently.
And I absolutely love the fact that he has his upgrades going much earlier than Coco. He's got 2-2 on the way. Coco just recently starting his 1-0. He hasn't actually put that second engineering bay into use just yet. And keep in mind, his engineering bays were very, very late. One thing he does have going for him is he has the dual starports with reactors on both, so he's going to be able to get a huge Viking cloud, assuming he continues production of the Vikings. And also, I love this hidden fort from White Raw. It's just in such a good position. Ooh, it looks like he's going to try and sneak in here and kill some of these Colossus. I don't know if this is his timing for a push right now. It looks like he's committing a little bit early. He's going to kill a ton of those Zealots, however, in the front, and the Colossus are beginning to go down. 2 of them have already gone down, and it looks like a 3rd might go down. No, Coco has decided to pull out completely, and I do not think that that was cost-effective for Coco. He lost his entire Viking ball, a ton of Marines and Marauders, but Marines and Marauders are expendable. The Viking ball is not. That's super expensive, and you basically need it to kill all of the Colossus in order to be in a good situation. And now I think White Raw is going to be able to push through here and do a ton of damage.
Yep, he only took down 3 of those Colossi, and you just said it right there. Looks like one Colossus may go down, the other may fall as well, but White Raw has already traded effectively with his army. He's going to be able to neutralize the rest as well. Good force fields were going down as well, preventing most of the Marauders from attacking these ranged units here in the Stalkers. Now the Stalkers are finally going to go down, but that's